Hi, Moms Time Out families. It is time for the March classroom tour. This month we have been focusing on a few new things. We have some color matching, a lot of rainbow-ish type materials out to celebrate the Irish and St. Patrick's Day. I'm Irish and I took Irish dancing, so we did a jig, a little jig lesson, so that was fun. And we also celebrated the Feast of St. Joseph this month, so we have some materials out like tool work and screw driving work and things like that to highlight his role as a worker and a carpenter. And I wanted to share a quick resource. Kendra Tierney, who I think I might have mentioned before, she's wonderful. She is behind Catholic All Year, and she has a lot of fun traditions to do with your children. She wrote a book called Catholic All Year. There's a prayer companion. There's monthly subscription boxes. She's really built quite just a business, but also just, I think, a wonderful resource for families. Her traditions are not very difficult, and they're great for small families, large families, and the kids really have a great time. And so for St. Joseph, she has this fun tradition called pasta alla tavola. And basically you eat pasta on the table and you create sawdust to represent St. Joseph's carpentry work. And you eat all the pasta with your hands to celebrate how he worked with his hands. And there are a bunch of episodes on Formed, and you can watch, them with your kids. Our kiddos love them. And there's a few out for Advent and Christmas. And then I think there's one coming out. I think it's out actually today for Holy Thursday. So just wanted to give her a little shout out. She's really just blessed our family. And like I said, everything is so fun. The kids really have a great time, and they learn a lot about church history and the saints and the liturgical year. So we'll start with our books as usual. So let me see if I can flip here. Oh, probably not. I'll just turn the phone. So hopefully we can see all of the books. I obviously didn't go to any type of videography school at all. So these are obviously very, very immature videos. So thank you for bearing with me. I hope you can see everything and hear everything clearly. Anyway, these are our books this month. So we're focusing on spring, butterflies and seeds, and learning a little bit about eggs. We've been focusing more on this book. Spring for Sophie the children have really enjoyed it. It really talks about what spring feels like and sounds like and tastes like, and it's just really fun. And then the other one I wanted to point out was this one, Listening for God, another book from Katie Warner, who I've mentioned before as well. And this is just a beautiful, beautiful book. It is talking about the story of Elijah, but it talks about how, Elijah went to the mountain and he, was looking for the voice of God and watching for the voice of God and hearing for the voice of God. But, God's not in the wind. He's not in the earthquake. He's not in the fire. He's in that still small voice. And then the kids act out can you stomp your feet like an earthquake? Can you roar like a fire? Can you be the wind? And it talks about how, God wants to talk to each of us. And he does that through our stillness. And so there's an exercise in here that requires them to be quiet for, a couple minutes or so. I've been trying to increase it a little bit each time. And it's been going really well, and they really love it. The silence game is a classic Montessori game that's been played in the classroom. Dr. Montessori invented it, and it's wonderful. It really teaches them how to, calm their bodies, to concentrate, and it can be done with toddlers, with 3 to 6 year olds, and it's also good for adults. And anyway, so the children aren't quite ready for that full-blown silence game. We tried it back in February, and we needed to kind of work on some more things before then. So this was one book that I'm using to kind of build up to that. But it's beautiful. I thought it was great for Lent as well. And then, oh, these are fun too, these Momo books. Basically, you find the dog. His name's Momo. And the children really love these. There's always him and then a few other objects to find in the picture. And they're great for restaurants and cars and basically anytime. So those are our books this month. And then over here we have some practical life materials. We have a new sewing work, just a triangle, a little bit more trickier than last month. We do locks and keys in March. There's something about locks and keys that reminds me of Ireland. Maybe it's like opening the treasure box, right, and finding the gold. I'm not sure, but I always put them out in March. And the children really have enjoyed them. We basically just have, one key here with a little lock box. Sometimes there's little treasures inside. Then we have this work where they're actually matching the keys with the different locks. And they've really enjoyed this work as well. Then for our tools and learning how, just about screwdrivers and nuts and bolts and screws and all that, we have these out here. We start with pretty simple concentration building materials where they're just literally screwing knobs on and they're matching the knob. They kind of work up to that. But it takes, a few minutes to screw each one. And it's a great work for developing concentration. There's this one too. And then it progresses up to here where they're starting to use a little tool like a screwdriver, right? And then these are the bolt boards and the nut boards. And they work with these again to put different ones in. And then this one's a little bit harder with the Phillips head screwdriver there. So every time we bring these out, they are always used a ton. And it's wonderful to see the progression in the children. At first, they need help like turning the knobs and turning the screwdriver. And then usually by the end of the month, they have got that wrist motion figured out. And it's a great practice for just strengthening those hand muscles and a great practice for writing as well. And then this month we've been focusing on tools, matching some tools. We still have our traditional materials here. We still have the Buddha board out for a little longer. And then our math materials have stayed the same. I did add this one to kind of appreciate the child's need for, or the sensitive period for small objects. They love putting these little teeny tiny balls in the 1 through 10 holes for each number. But it also works that pincer grasp, which again is essential for writing. These work more of the palmar grasp when you're putting them in here. So again, lots of indirect preparation for writing. Also, a lot of these materials that we have out this month are self-correcting. So in Montessori, we talk about isolation of quality, where there's just one, quality that we're asking the child to learn with each material, but we also have a control of error, right, in most materials that you'll find in the Montessori classroom. The reason for this being is it fosters independence, right? So the child doesn't need to ask the teacher to help, fix their error. They can work and manipulate with the materials themselves, and they can see their mistakes and then work to fix it and then to master that material. So it's wonderful for concentration, for confidence, for perseverance. And so just building those virtues and those practices that lay that foundation for that later academic work that's coming. And then over here, we just have these little posting materials, which they like. They start out a little bit basic here, and then they can build big, tall towers with these. Our nesting material is here. Lockbox is still out. And then we have some kind of rainbow-ish type materials. These stayed out for 1 more month. They'll probably go away in April. They've been out for a while, and I'm just starting to observe the children be less interested in them. So, but they were used quite a lot through January and February. Then some size discrimination here with rainbow colors, and then also this material as well. And then lastly over here, we have some traditional knob cylinders. I just have 2 out, 1 at a time, to introduce them. There's 4 total. Again, groups of 10, so base 10 practice. Same with the number rods and the red rods, and also the pink tower and the brown stairs, right? Those base 10 numbers, all working with discrimination of size. And then this has been a fun work. Again, one that we put out in March, where they're matching colors. And again, it takes a lot of time to put each ball in, right, to each slot. So working those hand muscles again, but also building concentration, matching colors. And it's, again, we've seen that progression, right? Where at the beginning of the month, they were like, oh, I don't know if we can do this. And some of them would start and then they wouldn't finish it, right? But by the end of the month, they've got that rainbow all together. So that's been really beautiful to observe too. And I think that's all the updates for now. We are looking forward to April. In April, the plan is to talk about farming, of course, all the farm animals with Easter, chickens, eggs. We'll again be celebrating the Easter season and reading stories about Jesus's resurrection. And yes, talking about the farm, we'll bring the barn up with the animals, learning vocabulary names of the farm animals, the different things you might see on a farm besides animals, like tractors and hay bales and all kinds of things. And that's always fun. The barn is used a lot, and the connections they make with it are wonderful. And then, also do some farm to table books and where our food comes from and that type of thing. And then lastly, and I should have showed you this earlier, we have started, I don't know how well they're going to do. I am not a plant person, but Miss Jenny is, and she has saved me over and over again. The plants that you see in the classroom are still alive because of my mother. And so I've been consulting with her regularly, but we have planted some beans here and some squash. And so we'll see how they do. A child did put a little bit too much water in them. And so I'm not sure how they're going to do, but it's a good lesson to learn. And we might be able to help them along. Or they always they're from the Kiwi Crate company, which is a great company, and they send some extra supplies, some extra seeds and some extra soil in case we have to do some fixing. So we'll see how it goes, but we'll be learning about plants and just different things, how they grow and, perfect for springtime. So as always, please reach out with any questions. We are so thankful to have your children with us this spring, and especially celebrate this upcoming Easter season with them. Okay, thank you. Bye.